Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Russell here, and as a Canadian who's actively buying more cryptocurrency and digital assets, it's super important to be using a Canadian platform, especially given the fact that some other exchanges that aren't centered in Canada, well, they've decided to stop offering their services to Canadians because of Canadian regulations. And there are quite a few different Canadian options, but it's really difficult to get an idea on which one's best for you, especially when it comes to fees, certain security trade-offs, as well as the additional features that are or aren't in these various platforms. That's why when NDAX, a company based out of Calgary, got in touch with me to take a look at their platform, I said I'd do so as long as I could touch on the pros and the cons and directly compare them to some of their competitors so that you can have a better idea on if this is the right platform for you. So that's exactly what we're going to do, and we're going to do it in 3 different sections. The first one is how easy it is to sign up for the platform. Second is comparing the buying and selling experience, especially in consideration of the fees compared to some of their competitors, as well as some additional bonus features and potentially most importantly for you, the security details. Overall, this sign-up experience was pretty fast for me. It took me only around 10 to 15 minutes to get all set up and ready to trade. And it starts off like this with this basic sign-up page where you can set up a username and email address. And then after that, you have to verify your email address. And then you have to verify your identity by uploading your driver's license and asking or answering a couple other additional questions. And this is all because, again, in Canada, the space is quite regulated. So they need to have all this information to allow you to actually use the platform. And they made the process super simple when it comes to actually uploading those documents. Sometimes you have to take a picture, maybe send it to your email and upload it from there, but they actually have a tool that'll allow you to just take a picture right there on your phone and it immediately uploads it to the platform, so you don't have to deal with all the file management to actually get a picture of your documents actually uploaded to the platform. After you log in, you land on this dashboard page that provides you a whole bunch of information. Now this is just a demo account I set up with demo funds so that I could show you a bunch of the functionality here without actually having to do the trades in the moment for myself. But you can see there's a whole bunch of information just on this main page. It tracks your total assets and you can actually do all the buying and selling, at least the basic version of it, right here from the dashboard. It shows you your portfolio, recent transactions. You can set up sort of default addresses that you may want to send this various cryptocurrency to, as well as all of your recent logins so you can make sure that your account is secure. And you can see right from the dashboard the list of cryptocurrencies and tokens that they actually support, and I'll scroll through it here for you. Of course, there's support for Bitcoin, but we also see Cardano and Ethereum and XRP, Doge, Tether, that's a stable coin. We've got Polkadot, Matic for Polygon, a sidechain for Ethereum, as well as Chainlink, EOS, XLM, as well as many others, even some DeFi governance tokens like Aave, Uniswap, and Compound. And funding your account with Canadian dollars is actually pretty easy as well. You'll see right here that if you click this deposit button, it'll take you to this page, and the best way to actually fund your account is to do it via e-transfer from whatever bank you currently use. You can input all of these details so that they can match this e-transfer to your account, and then it'll actually take around like under 30 minutes to actually fund your account, depending on how quickly that e-transfer goes through. And another important thing to point out is that with this platform, it's actually totally free to fund your account. There's no transaction fee, and there's no percentage of the funds that you put in that gets taken away by the platform. And there are some competitors here in Canada that charge anywhere up to 1.5% of the total amount of funds you put in every single time you deposit funds or take them out of your account, which is definitely not as consumer friendly. But now we have to talk about the fees that you will pay when you use this platform, as well as how that stacks up to some of your other options. Now, if you've watched some of my past videos on cryptocurrency, you'll know that these exchanges, well, they make money on you in 2 ways, potentially. The first one is with flat fees that are charged every single time you do something, and the second way is through spreads. Essentially, what that means is that there's a difference between the price that you'll pay to buy a certain cryptocurrency and the price that you can potentially sell it back at. That's called a spread. Now, some exchanges and platforms choose one, some exchanges and platforms choose the other, but NDAX has actually gone with both, but that's not quite a bad thing here, as I'll show you in a second, because the amounts that they charge for each of these are quite a lot lower than some of their competitors. Let me show you this individual spreadsheet that I put together, because it is a little bit complex to determine which platform is the best when it comes to fees, so I've used a spreadsheet here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's how NDAX stacks up to some of the competitors. Let me walk you through here how I've done these calculations to determine which option might be best for you. First thing is I calculate the spread, the sort of difference between the buy and sell prices on the platform, and I compare how much if we put in $1,000 and invested that in Bitcoin, how much Bitcoin we'd actually get, especially based on the trading fees for that platform. And then if we were to sell it and then we would take out our Canadian dollars, how many Canadian dollars would we be left with at the end? And let me show you the results here. You'll see here that when compared to some other platforms that I've covered on the channel, NDAX's buy price is actually the lowest, meaning you can buy Bitcoin for the lowest amount from their platform, and you can sell it back to them at the highest amount. So obviously that works out to being favorable for the user. But NDAX does have a 0.2% fee anytime you buy and sell, so I factor that in right here in this spreadsheet. But the amount of Bitcoin that you would end up if you invested $1,000 into each of these platforms is listed right here, and you'll see here that again, NDAX, even with the trading fee of 0.2%, you end up with the largest amount of Bitcoin if you were to invest $1,000. But if you were to sell that Bitcoin or whatever asset you're investing in, well, that trading fee would be charged again, and that an additional 0.2% would be taken away from that amount. But we can see here, even compared to the platforms without these fees, because the spreads are so small, you actually end up with the most amount of Canadian dollars after buying and then later selling your Bitcoin at $993 after you take into account all of those fees. Now, different platforms handle withdrawal fees a little bit different. Some opt not to charge them at all. Some will charge a fixed percent, as we see here, and some will charge a dollar amount, and that's the case for NDAX. They charge $25 when you're taking any amount of Canadian dollars from your account and going back to a bank account. So you can see here at the end of the day, if you were to buy Bitcoin and then eventually sell it and then want to transfer that money out, well, NDAX ends up sort of in the middle of the pack here. But in my eyes, that's actually not too big of a problem, because I believe most people who are buying cryptocurrency and digital assets are doing so with a long-term outlook, meaning they would be getting the best bang for their buck going with NDAX and holding that for the long term, especially if they don't plan on ever being charged that $25 withdrawal fee. If you're like me, you're probably buying these assets on a platform like NDAX and then transferring them to a cold storage wallet like the Ledger Nano X I have right here, in which case you actually won't ever have to pay this withdrawal fee. You'll only have to pay the transaction fee when it comes to actually withdrawing that from your account and sending it to a different wallet address. And those withdrawal fees are listed right here, and that's something that you'd expect to pay with any sort of platform as you take out your cryptocurrency and then hold it on one of your personal wallets. So as long as you're not planning on funding your account, buying cryptocurrency, and then immediately selling it and taking it out and being charged that withdrawal fee, NDAX will actually be the best bet for you. And there's also some other pros to this platform that I haven't seen on other platforms that actually give it quite a competitive advantage. If you're someone who's looking to get into some of the more fine details, well, NDAX actually has one of the best and most robust pro trading platforms, and to the best of my knowledge, there's no additional fees for using it. You can see here that we have this candlestick view, and we're able to analyze the data through that, but also through a range of other filters that could be important to you if you're making some of these more fine trades. You can set up different favorites and alerts, and it even gives you access to different types of orders, not just the typical market order where you just say that, hey, this is the amount of Canadian dollars I want to convert into Bitcoin, give me whatever price you can get for it. You can actually set limit and stop orders to allow you to more fine-tune the prices that you want to buy these assets at. Additionally, one of the best features I've seen on this platform that I actually haven't seen anywhere else is the ability to set up recurring purchases. Let me show you how this works. You can go to this recurring purchases tab and you can set up a scheduled purchase of any asset at regular increments that you want. So we could say this is an ETH DCA. I'll explain what that means in a second. And we can say, hey, I want to every single week on Tuesday at noon, I want to buy Ethereum for $100 Canadian. So maybe you fund your account with 1,000, and then each week you sort of dollar cost average in. Let me explain exactly how that works. Slowly buying into an asset at set increments is called dollar cost averaging, and it takes away the importance of trying to time the market or buying when the price is low and potentially selling when the price is high. Instead, you just buy over a longer duration of time, meaning that the ups and the downs in the market are sort of flattened out because you've bought not only when it was slightly lower, also when it was slightly higher, and you take advantage of sort of the average price of that market over the duration of the time you're dollar cost averaging in. This can prevent you from buying at the very top of the market and the next day potentially having your portfolio be down 10%. If you're worried about these short-term price fluctuations, then dollar cost averaging in with this recurring purchases function on NDAX could be the solution for you. And the platform is making use of a number of security features, many of which are becoming industry standard, such as Ledger Vault, which allows them to protect their assets with an industrial version of this, a cold storage wallet, making sure that these funds and these assets, while they're in the custody of NDAX, are completely protected. And potentially most important, if you're in Canada, they are adhering to the Canadian regulatory frameworks, meaning they're following FinTrack and all of the KYC, know your customer, and anti-money laundering policies, so they're at far less risk of being affected by new Canadian regulations because most of their users are actually in Canada, so of course they're going to follow those regulations, and the same can't be said to other sort of more global players such as Binance, who has recently sort of pulled out of some jurisdictions here in Canada. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of how this NDAX platform stacks up to some of its competitors and whether or not it's a platform that you should be using. If you're wanting to sign up for the platform, make sure to use the link in the description where you can get $10 free when you first fund your account. Also, if you have any questions, make sure to leave them down there in the comment section below this video, and I'll do my best to get back with you with any potential answers I might have for you. But with that said, thanks so much for watching this video, everyone. I really hope it's helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time.